Join me as I explore the intricate tapestry of drone warfare, its impact on the modern battlefield, and its controversial ascent in the theatre of war. This is not just a story of machines and tactics. It's a narrative about the changing face of warfare as we've never seen before. Well, check this out for a tick. You might be interested in what I have to say.
The signature weapon of the Ukraine war is undoubtedly the drone. It's said that at any one time, there might be as many as 10,000 drones in the air over the extended front line. And we're here in perhaps the most hotly contested drone warfare sector. You can perhaps hear the artillery in the background.
Throughout history, military success has gone hand in hand with technological innovation. Today, another relatively new weapon has come to dominate the battlefield here in Ukraine, changing the face of war forever. That weapon is the drone. A drone is a guided aircraft without an onboard pilot. They're sometimes called unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, but let's just call them drones. In the war above Ukraine, drones come in all shapes and sizes and perform a number of different roles, like the giant Turkish-designed Bayraktar that helped stem the initial Russian invasion, the Iranian Shahed suicide drones that have been launched in waves against Ukrainian cities, or the Chinese-made Mavic 3 recreational drones, which you can hold in the palm of your hand and have been adapted by both sides to hunt and kill.
Our present for us.
This is what we use the most here. It's a specially modified Mavic with twin batteries which extends my flight time so I can record enemy positions better. I almost never miss a target of opportunity.
To devastating effect.
This is a homemade FPV-style drone with a mounted RPG warhead and GPS with a camera system. Its purpose is a one-way trip and ram into anything of value to the enemy. This one has a flight time of about 15 minutes, depending on the ambient air temperature. Colder is less, warmer is more time. In my goggles, I can see my remaining battery life.
Larger drones, like this R-18 Vampire heavy lift drone, are able to deliver payloads like this 11-pound anti-tank mine being repurposed as a bomb. The Russians call such drones Baba Yaga after the flying witch of Slavic folklore. This is what a hit from such a witch can do to a tank. FPV stands for first-person view. A FPV suicide drone is a type of loitering airborne munition, a kamikaze flying bomb that is crashed into its target by its pilot. They're basically race drones with small explosives attached, set to explode on contact. Both sides have drone factories similar to the one shown here. Unlike a standard recreational drone like the Mavic, which has an easy fly mode to allow users of any skill level to fly it, an FPV drone flies more like a combat fighter jet. Its fixed optic is optimized for speed, not hovering, and requires skill to operate. The pilot sees only what the drone camera sees. Here, two are flying together. As a pilot myself, I can tell you it feels exhilarating. And it's the closest thing I know to flying like a speeder bike from the awesome film Star Wars. It's fun as hell. This is Daniel. He used to be a real estate agent. Now he pilots flying bombs defending his country, Ukraine. Instead of selling houses, he's now blowing them up for a living. This drone setup costs as little as $300 and is being used for pinpoint strikes like these. They're very fast and deadly accurate. Pilots routinely plunging into open hatches and into weak points. or sometimes against individual soldiers.
They're incredibly fast, incredibly dangerous. They're built out, usually custom, and then they have a payload on them. It's one of the aspects of the Ukraine war that has really changed the way that warfare in general is being viewed, and that's the proliferation of cheap drones. So the Mavics, which is basically a consumer-grade drone that you can buy. They can go to ridiculous heights, they can spot well. Some of these drones also have thermal, which means they can see very well at night, and they make a much different sound compared to an FPV drone. That's really the audio cues for drones are one of your best ways to survive those threats, because FPV drones have a super high pitch whine to them. They're moving incredibly fast, and they don't really stop moving. They don't stay static for so long, as opposed to like DJI Mavics, which are used more in that spotting role. They become stationary quite often, and they have a bit of a lower pitch to them. They don't quite sound like Orlan's, where it's that diesel motor, but it's definitely very distinctive between an FPV and a Mavic.
This is a new type of FPV that explodes before contact like a cluster bomb. Bigger kamikaze drones that can hit targets up to 30 kilometers behind Russian lines are now being used as artillery substitutes due to the lack of shells, which is why FPV pilots have themselves become prime targets. This is footage of a Ukrainian HIMARS strike against an FPV pilot school in occupied Donetsk in January. Several dozen students were reportedly killed. This film shows the reported assassination in Kherson province of a famous Russian FPV ace, call sign Moses, who was located and killed by a rival Ukrainian drone unit.
Ready for takeoff.
Activated.
Another mission is launched. One of dozens in a single day from this one secret location alone.
Affirmative.
The team leader, a 21-year-old, call sign Darwin, an ace pilot of FPV suicide drones.
Now I am flying to the area where the Russians are concentrated.
Like any good hunter, he's able to hit moving targets, choosing carefully the moment to strike. This explosives-laden dugout is well within Russian artillery range. We're very close to the Russian front line. Just a few miles away, which is necessary to maintain their real-time video link. It's pretty much non-stop artillery shelling outside, but Darwin maintains his concentration as he flies drone mission after drone mission. If Russia hadn't launched the full-scale invasion 2 years ago, what would you be doing right now?
Now I would probably be studying in my 3rd year of medical school.
Darwin and his drone team personify a dramatic leap in the evolution of warfare.
This is an amazing time. It's an epic technological revolution that is changing everything we know about warfare.
This is indeed an epic time to be alive and be a part of all this.
We got rarely granted access to spend a full day in the life of Darwin. It began at 3 a.m. We just met Darwin at his house, and now we're headed with the crew to the rendezvous point. An all-terrain cargo truck is waiting. It will ferry us the rest of the way to their secret location. How many drones do you have today?
40.
40? We're in the narrow, pre-dawn window of time when Russian thermal camera drones are less able to home in and track us.
Don't worry, we'll go dark before we pass through the checkpoint.
Hundreds of Ukrainian teams like this one set out each morning before first light. With artillery in short supply and Russian forces making breakthroughs, FPV drones are becoming Ukraine's best hope for combating Russia's vast fleets of tanks, armored personnel carriers, and other components of Putin's war machine.
Stop! Super!
We saw firsthand how they're also used to pick off individual Russian soldiers.
Did he hide in a bush in the field? Fly a little to the right, 11 o'clock.
I can give you some ideas.
Oleksandr Kamyshin, Ukraine's chief of military production, shared with Scripps News an astoundingly precise figure.
For FPV drones, it's now around $1,700.
$1,700
per kill?
$1,700 per kill, the cost of making one good Russian a good Russian. And finally, I'm sure that for FPV drones it will go as low as $1,000 already this year.
At the end of the day, the kamikaze drone evolution and revolution is happening before our eyes. Darwin, survival of the fittest, is that what this war is about when it comes to technology?
Partially, yes. It is not the strongest who survive, but the most adaptable.
Thank you for watching. I just want to point this out. To find more from me, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe below. Thanks so much. Have a beautiful day.